afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our New York studio. I'm Chris Taylor. The White House says President Donald Trump has made his red lines on Iran very clear, insisting that Tehran must not develop nuclear weapons and must hand over its enriched uranium stockpile. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that while the United States is considering a possible naval blockade on Iranian ports, it remains uncertain whether European allies or NATO would take part in such a move. She also noted that President Trump has not set any deadline for Iran to present a peace proposal. Meanwhile, the White House clarified that Iran's recent seizure of 2 international ships is not being viewed as a violation of the ceasefire, as the vessels were neither American nor Israeli. In another development, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that 8 Iranian women detainees will no longer face execution. According to the U.S. president, 4 of the women will be released immediately, while the remaining 4 will serve 1-month prison sentences. He thanked Iran's leadership for what he described as respecting his request to halt the executions. However, Iran's judiciary has rejected the claim, stating that no such executions were ever scheduled and accusing President Trump of being misinformed by false reports. The situation underscores ongoing tensions and sharply conflicting narratives between Washington and Tehran. Meanwhile, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian says breaches of commitments, continued blockades, and persistent threats remain the biggest obstacles to meaningful negotiations. In a statement, he emphasized that Iran continues to support dialogue, but accused opposing parties of hypocrisy and contradictions between their words and actions. At the same time, Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf warned that the ceasefire cannot hold if the United States maintains its naval blockade on Iranian ports, adding that reopening the Strait of Hormuz would be impossible under what he described as a clear violation of the truce. Iran has also appreciated Pakistan's efforts to mediate between Tehran and Washington, calling Islamabad's role important in promoting peace in the region. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai said diplomacy remains a key tool, but will only be pursued when necessary groundwork is in place to secure national interests. He stressed that Iran will act on future negotiations only when conditions are suitable, while continuing to safeguard its security. The remarks come amid uncertainty over a possible second round of U.S.-Iran talks. Moving on, Kyrgyzstan's Foreign Minister Jeanbek Kulubayev has praised Pakistan's constructive role in promoting dialogue and diplomacy for regional peace during a call with Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar. According to the Foreign Office, both leaders discussed bilateral ties and reaffirmed the strength of Pakistan-Kyrgyz relations. In a separate engagement, Ishaq Dar also held talks with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, where both sides stressed the importance of dialogue in resolving regional disputes. Dar thanked Turkey for hosting key diplomatic engagements, including the recent Antalya Diplomatic Forum. Lebanon's president has said negotiations are underway to extend the ongoing ceasefire, stressing that maintaining civil peace remains a top priority. He warned that no party will be allowed to disrupt security or destabilize the country during this critical period. The president outlined 4 key conditions for extending the ceasefire, including an end to Israeli aggression, full Israeli withdrawal, the return of prisoners, and the deployment of the Lebanese army. He reaffirmed his commitment to restoring stability and ending what he called an abnormal situation in Lebanon. Now to the latest from Islamabad, where security remains tight in the red zone amid uncertainty over expected foreign delegations. For more on this, we go live to our correspondent Sarah William in Islamabad.
Thank you, Chris. Security across Islamabad's red zone remains on high alert, with restricted access still in place for the general public. While some roads in the Twin Cities have recently reopened, residents continue to face disruptions following days of strict closures. Authorities had intensified security in anticipation of key foreign delegations, including a planned visit by U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, which has now been delayed after a sudden change in plans. Iran's delegation has also yet to confirm its participation in the expected talks. Meanwhile, government offices are operating remotely, schools have shifted online, and security forces, backed by army patrols, continue to maintain a strong presence across the area.
Thank you, Sarah, for that update. That was the situation in Islamabad, where heightened security reflects ongoing diplomatic uncertainty and regional tensions. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.